Hello and welcome to the final module of Best Year Ever for 2025. This is going to be added on to all the previous modules from the previous years. And every year I'm learning new things, I'm having different perspectives, and I get to share those all with you in the Best Year Ever series. So once you join any time of the year, and it's not just the beginning of the year, you get the opportunity to go back over all the modules and keep them forever. So we're going to finish up this season talking about personal brand and thought leadership and how to become a authority in your place of work, in your industry. It's firstly, I think let's just start from the beginning, which is that I'm sure that you've seen, like me, that there are sometimes professionals who effortlessly seem to attract opportunities, don't they? It seems like while others are struggling to be noticed, these ones, although they don't have any particular sort of additional talent, they seem to basically be the ones that you would go to. And what I want to talk about in this session is how they have managed to do that. I mean, effectively, what they've done is they've crafted a very influential personal brand. It probably isn't that they wanted to be a thought leader or anything like that, but they basically just decided that they're going to create their brand and they've got something to say. And interestingly, when you go on LinkedIn and you see the same people appearing on your feed, it's because really, although there are many, billions of users, it's only it's about 1% that actually post, and all the rest of the users actually look at it for reference, if they look at it at all. So if you're someone who is making your thoughts known and you're showing the way, then you become the obvious choice in your industry as a go-to. So with this session, if you're ready to become that influencer, even though maybe you've not given yourself that title before, you may want to become it simply because it's going to attract more attention and therefore better opportunities for you if you're actually working for a company, or if you're running your own company, then it's going to enable you to attract better, more higher value clients, because at the end of the day, much as it seems contrary, they don't have that many good people to go to. So if you position yourself like that, then you'll find that they come to you. And so once you start to do this, it directly monetizes. You create this brand, and all of a sudden that is generating revenue for you and making a lasting impact at the same time. So I'm going to try and share that with you today, how you can position yourself to really transform your position in the marketplace, whether you are actually working for an organization or running your own business, like I said. One of the biggest problems that I observe, whether you are a business owner, sorry, my doggy wants to come on my lap, so 2 seconds. Come on then, quick. She likes to be involved in these calls. So whether you're, like I said, a business owner, an executive, market invisibility is not what you want. You may excel at what you do, but you don't want to be the best kept secret, do you? Because if you are, then people don't know about you, so they can't engage you, they can't hire with you. That's the harsh reality of it. Another common hurdle is that, even if we want to do this, we sort of cringe at it. We feel uncomfortable. Maybe we feel like we don't have the experience. We're uncertain about what we're going to share. We think things like, well, who's going to want to listen to me? Other people are better. We don't want to appear too salesy. I wonder if any of that resonates with you, but certainly it's something that I felt, for all of these things, even though you see me quite a lot and I'm pretty prolific online. I have the thoughts just like everybody else. And I know that some of my very, very clever, accomplished, clients that really have so many great things to say and to share, they also feel like that. But so the truth is that, if you are in that position and you've at least had a good, a good job or a good client, then you have got something to say, you have got something to share. And I suppose, one of the ways of looking at this is, if you are able to impact people positively, then don't you have a duty to do that? Shouldn't you do that? And therefore, the only way to do that is to get yourself online and start to use these platforms. I mean, incredibly, these platforms are free. You only have to go back 20 years. And well, I say 20 years now because I remember in 2006 actually getting as a member of my staff to look into this thing called Facebook. And I remember other people sort of under their breath sort of moaning about the fact that he was always on this thing called Facebook talking to his uni friends, which is bizarre really now, isn't it? Because that was almost 20 years ago, but it was very new then. But 20 years ago, we were still advertising in newspapers for candidates and clients, and we had shop fronts and we were putting ads in the shop fronts. I mean, it's not that long ago. We would have killed at that point to have had totally free platforms to talk to billions of people, and that's effectively now what we've got. But we take it so much for granted. If you think about all of the different platforms, you don't even have to go on all of them. You can have your platform of choice. For business people, it tends to be LinkedIn, but it needn't be. I mean, you could actually go on YouTube. I mean, YouTube now is a great place for long form content. Instagram, if you just want to do short ones. LinkedIn is good if you just want to do actually written content. But yeah, I mean, the list goes on. You don't have to be a performer and a dancer, but if you are, then you've got TikTok. So there's all these different platforms that you can use, and they're free, which is crazy, isn't it? So if you're not actually doing that because you feel mildly uncomfortable about it, or you feel like you don't know what to say, my advice to you would be to start learning about this. This is what I'm going to try and do with you in this session, because when executed correctly, your brand really will work for you. It will attract clients, opportunities that you didn't expect, and credibility without the need for you constantly pursuing it and feeling you need to prove yourself. So we're going to put in place some actionable steps so that you can think about these, you can start to plan your own personal branding, and this is going to enable you to really confidently show up and stand out, and grow your career or grow your business in whatever direction you want. So by the end of this session, I do want you to have that clear and actionable plan. You're going to be able to define your unique brand identity. And this is going to distinguish you in your place of work or in your industry. You are heading towards establishing yourself as a thought leader. Some people may call that an influencer, but let's call it a thought leader, where people will trust and follow you. And incidentally, this is not about pursuing tons and tons of followers. It isn't about that. You can be very influential with just a few hundred followers. So think about it more as quality content rather than number of followers. And then what you can do is you leverage that content on social media, to really amplify your reach, to get that reach out to many people. Because even if they don't follow you, they will watch you. If you just look at any of your posts and you look at the difference between the watches and the impressions and the followers, I mean, it's massive. So even if you're not getting loads of followers, people are going to be able to see you. And gradually, if they see you regularly, then they will probably follow you because they start to like your stuff. And ultimately, this enables you to monetize it through your influence, because you will get profitable opportunities. And like I say, this doesn't have to be brand deals like an influencer. This could be profitable opportunities like new clients, new projects, a promotion, or even exciting opportunities, invitations to go and speak in places, invitations to attend, to be a judge on panels, to be just invited to openings of things, trade and industry shows and things like that. So it's amazing what comes out of it. And ultimately, once you have that body of work, you are building a legacy, because people can go back and have a look at it. And, anytime they want to know a bit more about you, they will do that. And that will create enduring impact. What I'm also going to do at the end of this is to introduce you to an exclusive one-time offer. It's designed to accelerate this journey and make you a more recognized authority in the field. I haven't made this offer before. I promise you, when I do offers like this, they're always unique and they're always one-off. So stay till the end, and you will get to hear about that as well. But let's get on to the content. I've put together 7 steps for you towards thought leadership and personal branding. And so let's start with step 1 then, which is about clarifying your brand identity. I'm sure you've thought about this before, but maybe you haven't documented it. What is your core message? What is your mission? And what is your expertise? Ask yourself, what is it that I want to be known for? And if you're not sure, then think about, what problems do I solve on a day-to-day basis? I mean, you can have a job as a lawyer or an accountant or a, events coordinator. someone in marketing, someone in strategy. I mean, I don't know what your actual role is, but if you really think about it, you are solving a problem of some sort. I always remember when I met Richard Branson for the first time, and he actually said to me, you know, what problems do you solve? So first thing, he didn't say, what do you do? It was, what problems do you solve? It was so interesting when he said that, because it just, such a light bulb went off for me, because I started thinking about my business then in terms of what problems I solve. And I don't think it's any coincidence that I really went on a big growth trajectory after that. So, you know, if you think about that, then maybe ultimately, once you've thought about the problem that you solve, you can come up with a unique identifier. You know, you can come up with, just like, because the shorter it can be, the better. If you think about Elon Musk, it will be innovative technology, or it might be traveling to other planets, or maybe electric cars. It'll just be, you know, it'll be very, very quick. For him to be able to say, so just come up with something which is relate, you know, it's only a sort of a doorway into a much bigger conversation, but it's, what problem do I solve? You know, for me, I would say the problem I solve now is transformation, but that's transformation is so many different areas. Another thing, depending on the audience that I'm talking to, I could talk about longevity, because, you know, I'm known for my fitness, and people tell me I look young and everything like that. So, you know, sometimes it can be about longevity. So think of a phrase which really clarifies your brand identity when people say, what business you're in, or, you know, what area, what do you do, anything like that. So that's the first thing, because once you put yourself in a box, that's the box that people use. If you don't put yourself in a box, then people will just give you their own label. So you may as well define that label. So that's step one. I'll just give you a moment to just dwell on that. All right. Step two, I want you to think about your signature story, because people do connect with stories. They connect with stories and backgrounds, and not sales pitches. So if you're expanding on that conversation of what business are you in, then into a conversation, then having a sort of a ready-made quick story behind is really very, very useful to have. And essentially what that comprises of is where you came from, so the struggle or the challenges you overcame before, the transformation that you actually went through, and now your mission to help others. So this could be, I mean, it sounds a bit weird if you're thinking, well, you know, no one's going to want to know my struggle, but they really, really do. They love to know a story. So, for example, if you are a lawyer, it would be about, well, you know, I went to college here and I studied for that, and you know, this was the most challenging place. And then I got this break. And what I realized was I'm really interested in blah, blah, blah field. And then I helped this one and that one. And now really that's what I focus on. So it doesn't have to be earth shattering, you know, terrible struggles. It can just be, but basically broken into those three components: struggle or journey, transformation, which is like a realization, and then your mission to help others. I mean, some people have definitely got examples like that. But if you just take me with my fitness, let's say, you know, I always tell that story of, up until I was quite lucky, up till about the age of 50, I was just relatively fit. I mean, just was motivated to be it. I was naturally slim. But it was really only in my early 50s where I really started to notice a difference, where although I was relatively slim by most people's standards, everything was sort of dropping. My body didn't look like it used to look. I felt tired and lacking in energy at the end of every day. And so I would plonk on the sofa and have, you know, a glass of wine and some pasta, usually for dinner, and probably not sleep enough as well. And it wasn't really, and now here comes my transformation bit. So as you see, it wasn't like too much of a struggle. My business was still doing well and everything like that, but I definitely noticed that this was a challenge. And then the transformation bit was when I talk about I started to do weight training, and over a period of time, and there were struggles with, you know, getting motivated and feeling it was too difficult and feeling out of place in the gym and literally crying sometimes because it was such a struggle, but ultimately started to see results. And once I started to see results, I sort of doubled down even more. and started to transform my lifestyle, started to sleep more, started to prioritize training, change my nutrition, focus on reducing my stress, managing my stress. And that is my transformation story. And then coming on to my mission to help others, I started to teach that to people around me, the people that work for me, because they started asking me how was I doing it. And they always said, I seem to be so prolific. I seem to be doing so much. My business was starting to grow in areas. I was writing books, podcasts, everything like that. And so people were asking me, and so I started teaching it. And now that's what I do. So that's my mission to help others. So this is really the structure of a story that you want to have about yourself. And I think that this is the crux really of being able to be powerful with your influence, is that you have to have that personal experience that shaped your purpose, because people really do invest in people and not just products. So once you tell people how what led you to where you are now, and actually it's quite easy when you look back and you join up the dots, as Steve Jobs always says, then you can see what led you to where you are, and that's why you now do what you do. So crafting your signature story is step 2. Step 3, and I'm going to send you afterwards, I will send you a workbook to do this, so don't worry too much, and you'll get the recording as well. But just do take some notes now, just while thoughts are occurring to you, because sometimes it's useful when you're listening for the first time. Step 3, creating a magnetic content strategy. So consistency is key, because regular engagement builds trust. You don't have to post every day. But what I notice myself is when I post regularly, so for example, during lockdown and after lockdown as well, I did 100 episodes, and I said I would do 100 episodes of the YBMB show. And so I did it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I went live at midday and I talked body, mind, business, body, mind, business. It went like that. And covered a multitude of subjects, engaged, always did them live. So it meant that I had to get over my fear of, not looking perfect on camera, because, at midday on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we were out of lockdown by 2021. So I was here and there and everywhere, sometimes walking to the gym, sometimes in a meeting where I just broke off, sometimes at people's houses, I mean, my mum's, all sorts of different places. So people got to know me really, and my general movements, and they saw me in all different backgrounds and settings, so sometimes I was dressed up, sometimes I had hair and makeup, sometimes I literally was all sweaty just coming out of the gym, sometimes I might be in the sauna. I mean, it was all sorts of different settings. So people start to know you as you would get to know your friend. And but consistency is key. So setting yourself up to do some consistent work on whatever platform is really a way to start to magnetize people, because they start to look forward to it. And when I finished that 100 episodes, because, well, one, I finished it because it is work, and secondly, you do have to prepare for it. You have to prepare your content. You can't just sort of go on, show up and just talk about anything. Well, you can, I suppose, but really, if you're wanting to help other people, and not just doing it for the sake of it, you have got to do a bit of prep. But people missed it when I stopped doing it. As I'm talking to you, I'm actually thinking maybe I'll bring it back. It was a long time ago. But consistency is key, is the first thing. So when you are choosing a platform, first of all, and then when you are choosing how frequently you're going to do it, make a commitment to yourself that you are going to do this regularly, and a better still, to let people know that you place content every Wednesday or once a week, or a newsletter once a month even. You can build it up, obviously. 3 times a week is quite a lot. Daily, I mean, even I found that to be pretty much a struggle. Generally speaking, I'll put stories and posts up on Instagram and Facebook daily, but days go by where I don't. But once you actually commit to something, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can start to build up a body of work. Developing different content pillars is useful, because your clients are all over the place. And even though if let's just use a lawyer example, you may think that some of your clients, well, they'll never be on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Well, they will. Different people at different places. So yes, by all means, if you feel more comfortable on LinkedIn to start with. But as when you get to know a friend, you don't just want to see them in one particular setting. So you might actually, what I found is that people will come over from LinkedIn, they will follow me on Instagram as well. Some people from Instagram will be interested more in the business side. They'll go over to LinkedIn. I've noticed that people started going over to YouTube as well. So you can share different things once you get used to these different pillars. LinkedIn is more businessy. Obviously, Instagram is more, I think it's, more for fashion and fun and family and holidays and that sort of stuff. Whereas LinkedIn is more sort of industry trends, what's going on with business. And, behind the scenes is probably going to be quite interesting on places like TikTok and Facebook. So, but you can choose these different content pillars and what you're most comfortable with, and then maybe build it out. Using various formats really helps as well, because we may have a particular strength. Some of us really like to get on video. Some people like to just write. Some people don't want to face the camera like I'm facing you. They much prefer, though, they don't mind being on camera, but if it's more of like an interview where they're talking with other people, in which case maybe a podcast style might be better for you. So choose what aligns with your strengths. There are some people who are very, very successful influencers, and they only write. There are some that only do podcasts, as you know. To choose what aligns with your strengths, and then you can build out afterwards. So that's all step 3. That's about creating a magnetic content strategy that does engage with your audience in various different ways, but also aligns with your strength. Step 4 is about building credibility as well, and visibility. And really, the way to do that is that you want to have consistent links on all of your platforms. So if you are on LinkedIn or Instagram, or wherever you are, what you really want is a link tree as well, where people can go to find out more about you. So there's a thing called Linktree. I'll put it in the notes when I send you the workbook. But what you can do there is you can add all sorts of links. So say, for example, you've put together some great articles. There are some great pictures of you receiving an award or giving an award or something. There are videos that you like where you participated. There might be a podcast. If you're in business, it might be your introductory offer. You may want to be running a live webinar coming up in a month's time or something like that, or hosting an event. So you can do links to all of those things on Linktree. So if you have on your social media profiles the same link, then people can go all over the place. In terms of social media, but they will always come back to your Linktree, and you can change that up and down depending on what it is you particularly want to promote. So if you really want to get people over to your YouTube, that can be the first link in Linktree. If you really want them to all see the latest industry publication that you produce, that can be the top of your Linktree, and you can make it flash and things like that as well. So building visibility and credibility online is great with social media, but you want to have a place that they can go to after, to really engage with you on a more full and consistent level, so that that everybody who's following you has actually seen these basic things about you. And it's so helpful, because by the time you get to meet someone or have a call with them, they'll say things like, "Oh yeah, I saw that video," or "I know that you did so and so." So definitely think about the back end. Step 5, then, come away from social media for a little bit, this opportunity to speak publicly. I know a lot of people hate it. A friend of mine, he wrote a book called And Death Came Second. The only fear greater than death, apparently, is speaking in public. But the funny thing is, I mean, we've all felt it, that discomfort of being in front of an audience. But as soon as you start to focus on the audience, you stop thinking about yourself, and the nerves will go. I mean, it's normal to have a bit, some nerves to start off with, but they do dissolve once you are really engaging with that audience. So if you get asked to speak publicly anywhere, whether it's a small little event, on a smaller platform, if it's just to go on someone's podcast, or it's on a stage at an event, then say yes. Don't say no, because I know people who've said no, and they've said that they've then found themselves in the audience and really kicking themselves, thinking, wow, that was such an opportunity. So say yes. If you're not get invited, think about hosting your own events, like this webinar, for example, and this will position you as an expert. So basically, it's very, very important for you to share your expertise wherever you can, and doing it in an event is really going to make a big, big difference. Okay, so that is step 6. So we're talking about here, sorry, step 5, talking about embracing the opportunities to speak publicly. Now, step 6 is about thinking about possibly monetizing your brand. Now, I know maybe that's not why you're actually doing this, but I want to include this anyway, particularly if you are looking to get a promotion in your job, or if you are looking to get more clients in your business. Um, the next step of basically building this brand is to convert your followers. And as I say, they may not be followers, they may just be watchers, but converting those into clients. And the way you would do that is you would be offering your services, you might be offering programs, you may be offering books, you may be offering collaborations, partnerships. I mean, basically, this would be the next stage. Once you feel comfortable that you are delivering good content, people are watching it, you're maybe getting some decent comments, you're into the groove of doing it on a regular basis. Now it's time to turn your attention to how do you monetize this brand and this influence. When you have authority and you are a thought leader, this does command more premium pricing because clients will invest in your expertise, not just your time. And that's why for me, if I do a 1 hour consultation, then I can charge, 6 times what a normal fitness professional would charge just for an hour's consultation, So that's because people have seen my expertise. They know that I know more. I know more around the fitness than just the fitness itself. And so they come to me for, in this particular instance, even though it's much more expensive, they are, and, it's just the same amount of time. So they're not actually investing in time very often. They're investing in expertise. The same for business. If I go in and work with a company, I would charge 50,000, or depending on what they want, but it starts with 50,000 for the year. And that is literally because there is not very much time, but the impact that I can have in that company is going to be so widespread that it's going to convert many, many multiples of the 50,000. So by developing your brand and your influence like this, you end up basically monetizing it. And you do that through premium pricing. So it's not that you would end up having to do more work. It's not that you have to do more programs or things that you're not used to doing. It's more that the things that you're basically being charged for who you are. And what you're able to do. And the same applies if you are working for a company. Once they see that you're a thought leader, and particularly if you are a thought leader in the area that you're actually adding value to, and they notice that you're the go-to person within that organization, then they will really want to retain you. And that means that you're going to have more opportunities in that company. It means that you are going to get promotions. It means that, you're going to probably be given opportunities for equity if you're in a privately owned business. So all these great things come out of building your brand and your influence. And I suppose ultimately the seventh step is about building a legacy and scaling your impact. A robust personal brand is very much a long-term asset. Even if you change companies, even if you close your business and start another one, even if you change direction, building this personal brand is a real investment in your ultimate growth, and enables you to cultivate a community as well around your brand. And ultimately, what you're going with this is you're transitioning from selling your services, and selling your time, to actually focusing on delivering value and serving the world around you. And success ultimately follows from that. So think about it as a series of steps where you have to get used to the idea, first of all, get clear on what it is that you offer, then start to get comfortable with going onto all the platforms and consistent, then comfortable with other things that spin off from that, which are things like, speaking on other people's stages. And then after that, looking at opportunities to start to monetize, and then ultimately leading to building a legacy and scaling your impact. So you see how it works. It's very much a sort of step by step. You can't do all of those in one go. But there's much more to it than just wanting to be seen, on social media. I hear people say, no, that's not for me. I'm not a social media person. But, this is such an area of life to invest in. Because, like I say, going back to the beginning, if you can help someone, then shouldn't you? Should you not feel that you need to work, in an area where you are just going to make such a difference to other people? Just gives work more meaning, doesn't it? So I've had lots of clients, by the way, who have been hesitant in this field. They've said things to me like, no, I'm off the grid, almost like it's a badge of honor. But once and there's a particular person I'm thinking here, once she decided that she was going to start promoting herself, even though she was fearful of becoming boastful, she definitely saw a massive hike in the things that she was invited to do. She started to host panels, fireside chats. This is a big organization she works for. I think currently she's overseas helping to host an AI conference. So, this builds from a place of feeling sort of a bit fearful and wanting to pretend that, you don't want to be online, but really it's more about feeling uncomfortable, through to facing that fear anyway, cultivating your own personal story, feeling more authentic about sharing it, until the point where she is today, where, you're receiving invitations, speaking engagements, featuring in industry publications, and consequently being able to monetize that through promotions and clients. And it's all without aggressive marketing. So I hope that this has given you an idea of how to really complete a transformation. And so I just wanted to, as I said to you, let you know that I do have this offer. It's a webinar only offer. So those of you who are here today, you can take advantage of it. Those of you who listen to this on the recording, then you'll have to tell me that you've listened to it on the recording in order to take advantage of this offer.